Hi, this is Sierra, and this is Reading Arsenal. Today I'm going to be bringing you a collective book haul. This book haul is going to be accumulating all the books that I have not been hauled in previous hauls. I'm not sure when until now, so it's pretty big. I'm not sure how many books are currently in it right now. I don't know if I can hold them up at the end. No idea how I'm gonna do my thumbnail. These books are in no particular order, so let's get started. The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I got this book on Thrift Books, and initially I got it because CC from Problems of a Book Nerd really loved it, and it's classics, so I really wanted to get into it. A staple in African American women's literature, so I definitely want to broaden my horizons when it comes to classics, and this would probably be a good place to start. The next book I got through a friend of mine from a group chat sort of thing we're in together. Thank you, Amy, for getting me Kurt Vonnegut's The Cat's Cradle. I have never read any Kurt Vonnegut before, and I didn't know where to start, and she was giving this away, and it's a very pretty copy, so I decided, why not? I'm not sure what to expect, because I've heard varying descriptions of what Kurt Vonnegut books and other works are like. It'll definitely be interesting. From what I see from the description, it's about one of the founding fathers of the atomic bomb, and then it just seems kind of futuristic, kind of. I hope to get to it soon. Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. This edition is illustrated by Chris Riddell. It's a naked hardback, and it has illustrations, which I found really cool. Oh. Did I get lipstick on it?
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
So it's kind of very fantastical, and I've never really read any Neil Gaiman, which is kind of weird to be a person on BookTube and not have read Neil Gaiman. The next book I have is an ARC that I traded Whitney from Witty Novels on Books for Traded on Twitter, and the ARC is Stealing Snow by Danielle Page. I believe it's a Snow Queen retelling, Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This is a fantasy novel based around dragons and witches, and I am totally here for it. I'm getting in sort of the headspace where I don't know if high fantasy is what I really enjoy, so hopefully this is good. American Gods. This is definitely more like realistic, paranormal, supernatural stuff, so I'm into it. I love me some paranormal, supernatural. I eat that crap up. Give it to me. And I hope to watch the TV show. It seems it's very floppy. The Apocalypse of Elena Mendoza by Sean David Hutchinson. Took me a few tries there for some reason. This is a book about a young woman who was a product of a virgin birth. She has mysterious abilities where she can heal people, but the world sort of starts to fall apart after she does that. So this sounds very intriguing. I also have We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson, and I haven't read it yet, so I don't really know what to expect from him. This plot sounded really intriguing to me, and I decided to pick it up. I just love the font right here. It's very cool. The next book is a bind-up of His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. It's a bind-up of The Golden Compass, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass. Yeah, because I've actually never read The Golden Compass. I don't know, it just feels like everyone has read it and I haven't. And I kind of want to read The Book of Dust eventually. Black Prism by Brent Weeks. Reagan from Peru's Project raves about this book so much, and it's a high fantasy, so hopefully I get into it. I'm not doing so well with high fantasy lately. Hopefully I will like it. It's basically, if you don't know the plot, the magic system is where you can get your powers from light. Very interesting concept. I really found it interesting when I saw it on Reagan's channel. I'm really excited to try it out. The next two books that I got was Graceling and Fire, both by Kristen Kishore. I had never read Graceling before I got an audiobook copy from the library. I saw it was on Thrift Books, and my mom convinced me to get the first edition, but didn't come with a dust jacket, so there's that. And I also got the second book, which is Fire. I just really found it very readable and very interesting, like what I've read of it. Poe and Casa, like OTP. So excited to delve back into this world once I have more time. The next book I got is in this weird mass paperback copy, because I don't know if I'll like it. If I do like it, I will get a bigger sized copy, but that is The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, who is J.K. Rowling, and it's just basically a mystery novel, detective novel type thing. I'm hesitant, but I really liked I really liked The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. Like, a lot of people were like a little mixed on it. I really liked it. So this one is definitely up in the air for me because it's a different sort of story. I'm willing to give it a chance. The next few books that I have are graphic novels. First one is Sweet Tooth Book 1 by Jeff Lemire. This is a story about a world. There was a virus that killed most of the population. The only people that really survived were human-animal hybrids. It follows this human-deer hybrid named Gus. He's navigating through this sort of apocalyptic world where a lot of bad can happen. I already read it, and I can't remember the rating I gave it. I think I gave it 3 or 4 stars. I loved the art style, and it was very gritty, and I just really thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I hopefully gonna snag book 2. Is The Last Man Book 1 by Brian K. Vaughan, Ty Guerra, and Jose Marzan Jr. This is a story, it's another futuristic story where every man dies and then women have to rebuild and stuff. And for some reason, one guy and a monkey survive. I guess it gets weird from there, so I'm excited to delve into this because I've heard this series is really good. The next thing that I got is Paper Girls Volume 2. I don't know if I put this in a haul already, but Paper Girls Volume 2, it's basically the continuation of the Paper Girls graphic novel series, where it's about a group of young teenagers who discover something very paranormal, supernatural in their town. It's kind of in the same vein as Stranger Things, but with all girls. This is the second volume. And the next graphic novel that I got is Sex Criminals by Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. The book is about having sex and freezing time, and they're sex criminals, so yeah. It's gonna be pretty sexy, I guess. Yeah, I've heard this series is really good from quite a few people. I decided to give it a try. The first 2 volumes in a series, and that is Descender by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. This is about a young robot in a universe where all androids and robots have been outlawed. It sounds very intriguing. It gives me like Astro Boy vibes, almost like Big Hero 6 vibes for some reason. So excited to get started on this. The next book that I have here is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, The Japanese Art of Decluttering and Organizing by Marie Kondo. This book has been battered to all hell because I've been using it to help declutter my life. So I have dog-eared a bunch of pages and underlined things and written in the margins and stuff So it's a little dirty from my pen, which I need to find a better solution for annotation. But this was a good book. This was basically how to declutter your life, and you declutter through categories, not specific rooms. Touch and feel anything and ask yourself, does this spark joy? I would recommend it to anyone who wants a different method on decluttering. The next book that I have is a sort of partly graphic memoir. It's all absolutely fine. Life is complicated, so I drawn it instead, by Ruby Elliott. You may know Ruby Elliott as Ruby Etc. on Tumblr and Twitter, and she just does little comics about anxiety, depression. Like, for example, here's one, and I did a review of this on my blog readingnostril.com if you would like to go find it, but this is one of them. It says, God, there is so much. Yeah, this is just a continuation of another comic, but anyway, it is really good, and she just has a way of really getting to the most relatable thing when it comes to mental illness, and she really understands that mental illness and depression and stuff, it's really a roller coaster. It's not really get sick, recover, and then get better. It's more like up and down. Sometimes you're recovered and sometimes you relapse, and it's just, she understands a lot of aspects of mental illness, and I really, really appreciate this book. You would like it if you liked Hyperbole and a Half, which is also kind of a funny kind of comic book with simple drawings, but this mostly focuses on mental illness, whereas Hyperbole and a Half just focuses on more memoirist stuff. So I would recommend those two books. Hyperbole and a Half is by Ali Brosh. And just a reminder, I'm leaving all the links to all the books, as always, in the description box down below, so you can find them. The next book that I have here is The Dinner by Herman Koch. This book was recommended by Kayla from Books and Lala. This is a translated work, translated from Dutch, I think. And it's translated by Sam Garrett. So this is basically about one evening where a group of people are at a dinner party and things go awry. So I'm really interested in, like, takes place in one day or one part of the day sort of books. So this definitely came highly recommended from Kayla. So I'm excited to delve into this one. We have the Andromeda Saga by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. If you do not know, this is a sci-fi novel about lady space pirates, basically. I've heard lots of mixed things about this, and I bought it like right when it first came out because I wanted to support booktubers, but I am hesitant to go into it, but it's sort of a happy hesitance. Is that a word? Hesitance? Hesitant? I don't know. I'm excited to get into this. Bigger than my face. Marrow Thieves by Cherie Demelin. This book is about a world, sort of a dystopian world in which people can't dream, so they consume the bone marrow of Native Americans and Aboriginals to dream, and it's like a resource, and they want to sort of capitalize on that resource. It seems very interesting, and it's I believe, yeah, I think it's won a lot of awards, and I'm really excited to delve into it, and it's also Canadian, so I'm excited for that. The next book that I'm very excited to read is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This book is about a sort of dystopian or utopian, depending on how you think about it, world where people cannot die, there's no disease, no sickness, stuff like that. So there's nothing can make you die, basically. You can live forever. But Scythe are people who keep the population down, so they go and they cull people to keep the population under control. And this is about two apprentices to a scythe. Neil Sisterman, he wrote Unwind, which I have read, but I haven't read the rest in this series. I've heard so many great things. I'm just so excited. The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. This is a sort of weird book. It is about a person who believes or might be in fact God, and the main protagonist is locked away in one of the main protagonists is locked away in this infinite library, trying to force to study near God and God. Anything involving libraries I'm a-okay with, and if it's weird, so be it. The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. Oh yay, sirens! It's a science fiction story set in the 40s, which I am here for. Yes. They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. An entire day before you die, you get a message saying you have one day left. Go out and live it. And then there's this app where you can meet people who have the same death day. I'm excited to read it. I really enjoyed Adam Silvera's novel More Happy Than Not. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Abrotali. This book I got in England. I'm just a kid and life is a nightmare. I'm just a kid, I know that's not fair. Nobody cares 'cause I'm alone and the world is having more fun than me. Whoops. Scratch that. Here is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. This book is a sort of thriller mystery type deal. This girl is like has amnesia or something, and it's like a tragic, it's like a weird love story. I don't know. I just picked it up because everyone raves about it or absolutely hates it, so I got it for cheap at a used bookstore, so it could be really good, so I'm gonna give it a try. The next book I got was based around Joss from Squirrels Reads recommendation, and that is Hild by Nicola Griffith. This is sort of, I didn't realize this was a historical fiction novel, but it is. It's set in 7th century Britain, and it's about Saint Hilda. The reason I got this book is that the author has said that she is bisexual. Bisexual representation. Hopefully it's somewhere demonstrated on the page, but who knows? The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I'm so behind on books and I still haven't read Hate You Give, but I got it in hardcover and I'm so excited to delve into this. I just need to find the right time, and I know you guys probably would scream at me, the right time is now, in the comments. I heard it's so good, and like, Angie Thomas seems like the most amazing person. I see her a lot on Twitter, and she's very like The Weight of Zero by Karen Fortunati. This is about a girl with bipolar disorder, and I don't know how accurate the representation is, but I'm interested, so I can't quite recommend it yet, but I will. I do not have bipolar disorder, so I can't stand for the representation. It might be worth a read. I have no idea. So if you have read this book, let me know in the comments down below, and I would love to hear your opinion on it. I have here the Geography of Madness by Frank Burrs, Penis Thieves, Voodoo Death, and the Search of the Meaning of the World's Strangest Syndromes. I just find like weird mental syndromes very interesting. I find mental health as anything and like very interesting, and the mind is so interesting to me, so I decided to give this a try. For all I know, it could be very dull and very boring. You won't know unless you try. So the history of books in 100 books. So this is just basically a nonfiction book detailing the history of books. And it has a lot of pictures and examples, and it's really heavy. But I'm really fascinated by books because if you don't know, I have a diploma in library and information technician, so books, I love books to death, so I thought this would be a great addition to my collection, give me more information on the history of books and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to peruse this specific book. So I have another graphic novel here, and it's a naked hardback, and it is Our Cats Are More Famous Than Us, a Johnny Warner collection by Anith Hirsch and Yuko Ota. It's basically, it's in different, like, the parts of it are in different colors, but it's basically about this couple's cats. I'm so excited to read it because this is probably just gonna be so cute and so just fluffy, and I hope it's fluffy. The next books I got was a complete series, and that is the Shatter Me series by Tahara Mafi, which includes Shatter Me, Unravel Me, Ignite Me, and Restore Me, which is the newest book. I've read Shatter Me on audiobook, and I really enjoyed it and decided to invest in getting the whole series. So just the writing of that series is so beautiful to me. A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. This is just about witches, and it's also about a library. Two of my favorite things. So the next group of books I have here are all poetry collections, but this is Dead of Night by Chris McGowan. This is a poetry collection by a Twitter poet that I follow. It's his first collection, and it's basically divided into, the parts are divided into 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and so forth. So it's very cool, and I'm excited to read it because I haven't read it yet. I feel so bad. I'm really excited to dive into this collection. The Stuff I've Been Feeling Lately by Alicia Cook. This is a poetry collection, and it's like a tape, so there's a side A and a side B. Side A is just regular poetry, but side B is blackout poetry from that poetry. So very cool. Sun and Her Flowers by Rupi Kaur. This is her second poetry collection. I have Milk and Honey over there. I don't know if I hauled Milk and Honey, but I have it, so there's that. So yeah, this book definitely has a different feel to it, which I really enjoy. It has a lot of texture and stuff. So, Love Her Wild by Atticus. This is just a poetry collection with photos along with the poems. The next two books I have here is The Princess Saved Herself in this one and The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one, both by Amanda Lovelace. And these two are part of a poetry collection series. I'm excited to delve into these two. I need to find a day where I can just read poetry. I also have this beautiful edition of Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. This is just a edition of the play. The cover is just very pretty. I haven't read Romeo and Juliet since like grade 10. The next two books I have here are both by V.E. Schwab. This is V.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic, and if you notice, I already have a copy of Darker Shade of Magic, but this one is signed by V.E. Schwab. So there's that, and I got this in a giveaway from my friend Jen through Crone Bloggers. I also have A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. This is just the paperback edition. If you are unaware of the A Darker Shade of Magic trilogy, it's basically about different parallel Londons and a person who can jump between them. The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. This is basically a book about the Underground Railroad if it was actually a railroad. Then I have the nonfiction memoir Dodie Secrets for the Mad. So this is just a collection of her writings, her art, pictures, and lots of good stuff. I got an arc of this on NetGalley but didn't finish it because it was really formatted very strangely. So I decided to get a physical copy because I've been really enjoying Dodie's music. Subtle Art of Not Giving a by Mark Manson. This is a nonfiction sort of self-help book that I got in Secret Santa for my friend Sam, just about not giving a fuck. Bygone Badass Broads, 52 Forgotten Women Who Changed the World by Mackenzie Lee. This is a book basically about powerful and empowering women throughout history, and it's paired with art, and it basically tells why they are so badass and why they are so amazing. I'm really excited to read this one because I love the Twitter series. The Book Thief, obviously, which I've read and will hopefully post to the review sometime soon. Hopefully. The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. It's like zombie apocalypse or something. I don't know. But sounds really cool. I hear it's like so good. Like very, very scary and very intense. Out by Natsuo Kirino. Natsuo Kirino, and this book is a thriller novel about a brutal murder, a young mother who strangles her abusive husband, and then her co-workers help her hide the body, and it's crazy, and I'm excited to read this. I need to read more thrillers. The Serpent King by Jeff Zettner. This book is about a group of teens who are good friends, and something happens in their lives that sort of changes their outlook. Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. If you haven't heard already, this is John Green's newest novel, and it's about a young woman who has OCD. It's supposed to have really good OCD rep because John Green also experiences OCD, so it was own voices. So I've already read this novel. If you would like to read my review, I will link it down below in the description box, or you can search for it on my site, readingarsenal.com. That is everything. I'm going to let you look at the pile because I don't know how I'm going to. I don't know how I'm going to lift all them up. I don't know how people lift all their books up. Like, just like, I'll show you now what it looks like. What the thing looks like. So there's all my books. My camera's being a little stupid. But there's all my books. So yeah, it's quite a pile, and yeah, it's just my leg for comparison. It's like halfway, almost up to my knee of books. Let you know that this is the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button if you liked it, or you can also hit the subscribe button, and because YouTube is buggy as all hell, you can also hit that notification bell to be notified anytime that I post new videos. Thanks again so much for watching, and if you read any of these books, please let me know how they are, and yeah, so I'll see you guys later. Bye!